Yes, I know.
At this time, I'll call this meeting to order. Clerk of the board, please call the roll.
Freeholder Bergen.
Present.
Freeholder Estrada.
Present.
Freeholder Garrettson. Freeholder Hudak.
Here.
Freeholder Jallo.
Here.
Freeholder Mirabella.
Present.
Freeholder Williams.
Here.
Vice Chairman Kowalski.
Here.
And Chairman Granados.
Here.
Chairman, you have 8 freeholders present.
Clerk of the board, please lead us in the prayer and salute to the flag.
Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his spirit on all who work for justice and peace. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk of the board, please read a statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act.
The chair wishes to announce that pursuant to the requirements of New Jersey statutes annotated, Title 10, Chapter 4, Section 10 of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Union has been given by mailing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2018, along with periodic changes necessitated by circumstances, to the newspapers circulating within the County of Union who are designated to receive such notice, and by posting the annual meeting schedule for the year 2018 in the Administration Building, and further by filing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2018 with the Office of the County Clerk.
Thank you very much. May I have a motion to approve the communication?
So moved.
May I have a
Mr. Chairman.
second?
Second.
Motion was made by Freeholder Mirabella, seconded by Vice Chair Kowalski. Clerk of the board, please call the roll.
Freeholder Bergen.
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada.
Yes.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Jallo.
Aye.
Freeholder Mirabella.
Aye.
Freeholder Williams.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Kowalski.
Yes.
And Chairman Granados.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to call upon Freeholder Estrada to join me for tonight's first presentation to Sheena Spence on being the first female firefighter ever in the history of the city of Elizabeth. So definitely deserves a round of applause. So when we talk about individuals breaking glass ceilings, you truly are remarkable. You truly are somebody who's doing that, not only in the city of Elizabeth, but across this whole entire country, and setting an example for other female firefighters and showing that you can do anything you set your mind to. I know it runs in your family blood already, the firefighters for Elizabeth, and I know your father is definitely a tremendous asset to the city of Elizabeth. But even while I was reading your resolution, there were some interesting facts that I picked upon, and I just wanted to make mention of it before I pass the microphone to Freeholder Estrada, was that at the age of 15, Sheena survived a stabbing in Elizabeth, and at age 18, a serious automobile accident. That truly is remarkable. That truly shows that you didn't let anything get in your way, that you truly had no barriers that you couldn't accomplish because you set your mind to it. And with that said, I know there's so many females, there's so many individuals that look at you as a role model. So with that said, I know I should say thank you for everything you're doing. Thank you for being a great role model, not only to so many of us, but to other individuals across this whole entire country. Freeholder Estrada?
Thank you. You know, it's very interesting that over the years, we have asked the question in the city of Elizabeth, well, when are we going to have our first female firefighter? Because I know when they designed some of the buildings, the accommodations were not adequate in terms of that being included. That was years ago. But the reality is that you're a model that, yes, you're the first female, but there was no special treatment for you to get here. You had to go through the whole process. And it's just, you know, today you look at things like this. You know, for example, I have 2 Hispanics here. I'm the first Hispanic elected. And those are things that have changed the manner when we do things. And women are no different. They're a minority. They where are the other minorities here? Pretty soon they'll be the majority in this board. But the reality is that today we recognize that. And it's a very happy day. I know this happened a little while back, but our congratulations. And you should feel very proud. I know you always will make us even prouder. Thank you.
I plan on doing my best and pushing forward. I take one day as it comes, and each emergency as serious as anyone could. I don't take anything lightly. I take pride in being the first. I feel like if somebody's got to do it, I don't mind being the first person to do it. There's going to be bumps and bruises, and I understand that, and it'll make the road a little smoother for other women to come. So I'm okay with that, and I can help somebody else as people have helped me.
I just want to congratulate yourself and Terrell on your upcoming wedding in 2019. Let's give them a big round of applause for that. Now for tonight's second presentation, we want to present a resolution to Officer Leo Nunez, a great individual, not only was a police officer, but somebody who recently also saved a 1-year-old child who, for over a minute, was declared dead. And he helped bring her back to life through his instincts, through his leadership, through the tremendous efforts I've seen him throughout his whole entire career in the Elizabeth Police Department. And somebody who helped this young lady come back to life, who after being in Beth Israel is doing well and fine now. And that wouldn't have happened without your tremendous instincts in making sure you came to the call of duty. So I just want to say thank you for that. I know Freeholder Schroeder would like to also add a couple words in.
Of course, I want to add a couple. My friend Leo used to work with me at the motor vehicle office for many years, so I know what type of individual he is, his commitment, and it's a pleasure to have him here. I know that that is the type of individual that he is. He moves right on when he sees an issue, a problem, to resolve it, and usually good outcomes. So my congratulations from all of us.
My name is Leo Nunez. I've been on the job for about 23 and a half years. This was my first rescue as a CPR. If it wasn't for me, it would be another officers, because I work with a bunch of great officers alongside. I just happen to get there faster. I guess living in Elizabeth, you know the shortcuts, avoid the lights and everything. Yeah, this little girl was out for like a minute and 30 seconds, and just went to action instincts. And I don't think I'm a hero. I just think I'm an individual, that I was at the right place at the right time. And hopefully this little girl has a second chance in life, and maybe she becomes something special. I like that. Thank you very much.
And for tonight's third presentation, I'd like to call upon Freeholder Mirabella and Freeholder Rebecca Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to call forward Judy Hurock forward as we're continuing our honoring of heroes. This hero in education is no different. So Judy, come forward. I also want to recognize Gwen Ryan. If Gwen would come up, she's the assistant superintendent, and also the principal of AIT, Colleen Gialanella. So Mrs. Hurock, as my children used to call her, who also went to AIT, is retired from many, many years of dedicated service to the Union County Vocational Technical High Schools. And AIT, most recently, we're partnering very closely with our principal, Mrs. Gialanella. And I couldn't let this opportunity go past without recognizing your efforts, calling attention to your great service. And I'm proud that Another educator is here to help me present this resolution to you, and we're so proud to wish you only the best in the future. Congratulations.
I've been in education more than 40 years, and I've worked in middle school, high schools, and college. But by far the best job I have ever had is the one that I've had at Union County Vocational Technical Schools. I started there in the shared time program. I was instrumental in working at the start of AIT. And I must say that it is just a fabulous, fabulous place for students to learn and grow. I thank the freeholders for everything they have done for the district. And it was hard for me to leave, but I'm knowing that there'll be other great things that will happen as the years go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't want to photo bomb, so I was trying to move out the way.
Nobody does that anyway. The other people. She told my son too.
Oh, yeah?
Whoops.
Sorry.
The next order of business is to consider 3 ordinance for adoption. Clerk of the board, please read the first ordinance by title.
Ordinance number 795-2018, bond ordinance to authorize the making of various public improvements and the acquisition of new additional or replacement equipment and machinery, new additional furnishings, new communication and signal system equipment, new information technology and telecommunications equipment, and new automotive vehicles, including original apparatus and equipment in, by, and for the County of Union, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $46,584,699 to pay the cost thereof, to appropriate state grants, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds.
Thank you very much. The meeting is open to the public for the purpose of commenting on ordinance 795-2018 only. Kindly state your name and town of residence for the record and adhere to the 5-minute time limit.
Good evening, Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the Freeholder Board, Bruce Patterson, Garwood. From what I understand, I'm looking at $46,584,000. In the budget hearings, I think I saw originally the housekeeping bond was around $71 million that you were planning to borrow. Freeholder Estrada actually voted no on the budget because of that, which thank you very much, Freeholder Estrada. So I'm just wondering, is this the bond? Is this the bond that was originally $70 million and now is $46 million? In other words, you cut out about $35 million. And I guess, is there any other housekeeping bonds that are going to be coming up making the difference between that? And I guess the last question is, you appropriate state grants, and Director Bibby Taylor comes up and she actually does say how much grant money is used towards this bond. So I guess these are the questions, and I'd just like to thank Freeholder Estrada for speaking out for the taxpayers about borrowing a lot of money. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Director Taylor?
Through you, Chairman. The $72 million project cost referenced in the adopted budget was just a plan. After due diligence with the county manager, through the direction of the board, that capital budget was reduced to the amount referenced in this evening's multipurpose bond ordinance. It is the lowest that we have had in a number of years. We are actually paying off more debt than this bond ordinance authorizes this evening. So no, it is two different documents with many of the projects referenced in the original budget here, but it is scaled down.
Thank you very much, Director. Is there anyone else from the public wishing to speak on this ordinance? Seeing no one else, I'll formally close the public comment on ordinance 795-2018. At this time, I'd like to ask upon Fiscal Chairman Freeholder Bergen to please move the ordinance for adoption.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I hereby move ordinance 795-2018 for final reading and authorize the clerk of the board to advertise same in accordance with the law.
Thank you very much. May I have a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Freeholder Bergen, seconded by Freeholder Mirabella. Clerk of the board, please call the roll.
Freeholder Bergen.
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada.
Yes.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Jallo.
Aye.
Freeholder Mirabella.
Aye.
Freeholder Williams.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Kowalski.
Yes.
And Chairman Granados.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you very much. Clerk of the board, please read the second ordinance by title.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Jimmy, hold on. one second.
Chairman, the second ordinance for tonight's reading is ordinance number 796-2018, an ordinance to amend the Union County Solid Waste Management Plan by including a general Class D recycling facility to be owned and operated by Safety Clean Systems, Inc., located at 1200 Sylvian Street, lots 21 through 24 and 26 through 30, Block 580, Linden, New Jersey, to accept, store, and transfer used antifreeze for processing and recycling at off-site locations.
Thank you very much. This meeting is open to the public for the purpose of commenting on ordinance 796-2018 only. Once again, kindly state your name and town of residence and adhere to the 5-minute time limit.
Good evening, Chair Granados, ladies and gentlemen, the Freeholder Board, Bruce Patterson, Garwood, New Jersey. Just simple questions. I would assume this is for the Union County residents themselves, that there's going to be some kind of collection of antifreeze. And I guess the simple questions is, I guess, have you considered where the collection sites would be that people could drop off the used antifreeze? And is there any revenues that the county will gain from Safety Clean collecting and processing?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to call upon UCIA, UCUA Executive Director.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, my name is Daniel Sullivan. I'm the Executive Director of the Union County Utilities Authority. With me this evening are two people from Safety Clean, David Deshay, who is the Senior Environmental Compliance Manager, and Andrea Martone, who is the Facilities General Manager. And they would be happy to answer questions from the public. So, David, if you would, answer the one question that was asked by this gentleman.
David Deshay with Clean Harbors, and Safety Clean is a subsidiary business of ours. We would not have public collection drop-off points. These would be collection points that are customers of ours that buy the antifreeze in bulk. And certainly, I think that some of those operations do allow for their customers from the public to come in and drop the antifreeze off. But to control it and to make sure that we're only receiving antifreeze. What we do is we have customers that they buy the antifreeze from us, and then this would allow it to be collected and get back into our system to be recycled.
Can you just make reference to some of the locations?
We have different customers that are, auto parts stores. We have fleet shops. Nothing it's more on the retail side. But we do have also industrial and commercial customers. So there is no public drop-off points. We would go where we sell the materials, and when they after they've used it, then we would send trucks in to come and pump it out and pick it up and take it to Linden, where we would then load it onto rail cars, or it could be tanker trucks, or we could actually send it in like drum containers and ship it to our recycling facility in Chicago, Illinois, where it would be made into a new product and then would be redistributed back in the marketplace.
Thank you. Any other members of the public wishing to comment? Seeing no one else, I'll formally close this public comment on ordinance 796-2018. At this time, I'd like to ask UCUA Liaison Freeholder Hudak to please move the ordinance for adoption.
Thank you, Chairman. I move the ordinance for final reading and authorize the clerk of the board to advertise same in accordance with the law.
Thank you very much. May I have a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Freeholder Hudak, seconded by Freeholder Mirabella. Clerk of the board, please call the roll.
Freeholder Bergen.
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada.
Yes.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Jallo.
Aye.
Freeholder Mirabella.
Aye.
Freeholder Williams.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Kowalski.
Yes.
And Chairman Granados.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you very much. Clerk of the board, please read the third ordinance by title.
Ordinance number 797-2018, an ordinance to amend Part 1, the Union County Administrative Code, Chapter 1, Union County Government Structure, Article 23, Office of the County Council, Part 2, Policies and General Legislation, Chapter 6, Affirmative Action.
Thank you very much. The meeting is now open to the public for the purpose on commenting on ordinance 797-2018 only. Kindly once again state your name and town of residence for the record and adhere to the 5-minute time limit.
Good evening, Chair, Granados, ladies and gentlemen, the Freeholder Board, Bruce Patterson, Garwood. I'm looking at this ordinance, and then later on in the, let's see what page, there seems, number 764. Yeah, 2018-764, which is on page 8, and I guess the question is, are these two related? Because it seems to be talking about policy against workplace discrimination and harassment, and this one's an affirmative action, kind of under the same umbrella. If it's not, of course, I'll ask about the resolution later on, but I guess for this, could you just explain what is being amended then? Thank you.
County Council?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. In terms of the code amendment itself, this basically formally establishes the Office of Affirmative Action as part of the Office of the County Council. It also expands a number of the protected rights and protected groups. This is really an update. We're required to do this periodically. So in order to comply with amendments to both federal and state legislation, we have expanded those protected rights and the protected groups. And lastly, it expands the responsibilities of the affirmative action officer herself. That's the primary purposes of the code.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public wishing to comment on this resolution? Ordinance,
Yeah, John Berry, Kenilworth, passing on a question. How much is it going to cost the taxpayers?
There's no cost associated with this. We already have an affirmative action officer.
Anyone else from the public? Seeing no one else, I'll formally close the public comment on ordinance 797-2018. At this time, I'd like to ask upon Policy Subcommittee Member Freeholder Bergen to please move the ordinance for adoption.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I would move ordinance 797-2018 for final reading and authorize the clerk of the board to advertise same in accordance with the law.
Thank you very much.
Second.
Motion was made by Freeholder Bergen, seconded by Vice Chair Kowalski. Clerk of the Board, please call the roll.
Freeholder Bergen.
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada.
Yes.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Jallo.
Aye.
Freeholder Mirabella.
Aye.
Freeholder Williams.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Kowalski.
Yes.
And Chairman Granados.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you very much. The meeting is now open to the public for the purpose on commenting on resolutions being offered for adoption only. Once again, kindly state your name and town of residence and adhere to the 5-minute time limit.
Good evening, Chairman Granados, Vice Chair Kowalski, and members of the board. My name is Pam Capassi. I'm the CEO of Prevention Links, a nonprofit organization that serves Union County for 48 years. Tonight, I'm here to thank you for your consideration of the resolution 2018-744 regarding the CLEAR program. CLEAR stands for Community Law Enforcement Addiction Recovery. We've been conducting that program for a little over a year now. It started as a pilot and a collaboration with the prosecutor's office, county office, and several police departments. And I just want to bring to your attention that many of you probably already know the societal cost of substance misuse in the United States exceeds $500 billion. And more importantly, and locally, in 2017, according to the Union County Prosecutor's Office, Union County saw 126 fatal overdose deaths due to the opioid epidemic. This program is addressing that issue close to home, right here at home, serving our residents here in Union County. And it's very effective, and it needs the support. It needs its support to be sustained. It needs the support to bring it to full capacity. And honestly, it needs your support so that we can save lives. So I'm just here tonight to thank you for putting it up for a resolution and for consideration. And if you have any questions about the program, Morgan and I are here to answer those questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just want to congratulate you also on your new title, grandmother.
Thank you.
Any other members of the public wishing to comment on resolutions for adoption?
Yeah, John Berry of Kenilworth, and oddly enough, I did have questions on 744 plus on 2 others. 744, was this put out for bid? And it also says linking to recovery, not doing recovery or support. What does linking consist of? Like, a brochure being handed out or something? It's just very unclear what $50,000 gets. Then we get to page 8, 766, about this something in Jersey Gardens Mall, paying utilities for, room 1158. What is that for? Is that actually a store in the mall or a kiosk or anything? Or what do they do in there? And what's the reason for the May to July thing? Are they moving out, or did they move out in July? Are they still going to be there? Like if we went to room 1158, what would be there? And the last one is on 772, that Trump 360 federal surveillance that would impact the ability of legal immigrants to gain citizenship if they got assistance from certain public programs. How would, this is the first time I'm hearing of this, how would the Trump 360 affect legal immigrants? And what programs, what programs would it impact that it would disallow? I mean, what's actually the problem here in 772? That's it.
Thank you very much. For number 744, Director Anderson.
Through you, Chairman. This initiative for CLEAR was originally established by the Union County Opioid Task Force and the Sheriff's Department that felt that this initiative would be very vital for this, to assist with Union County residents that are facing the opioid epidemic. For linkages, it is linking to detox and short-term residential and also linking to outpatient care. So it is a full wraparound service. So there's peer counselors that meet with the individuals, and you know, in the opioid sense, you have to want to get help. So that's where the linkages come in. Thank you.
And it's also had success rate. And we talked
There
about
is a
that.
success rate. To date, we have assisted 41 individuals from January 1st to present.
Thank you very much. In reference to 766, as Deputy County Manager comes up also.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, if you were to go to that place right now, you would find the VOTEC over there getting ready to open the Simon Youth Academy. The utilities are the last of the utilities that the county has to pay from when we had the Workforce Innovation Business Center at the mall. Going forward, those costs will be absorbed by the Simon Youth Academy School.
Thank you very much.
Would you like me to address 772? There is proposed legislation. Nothing has been finalized, but the Trump administration is considering tying people's ability to become U.S. citizens with their taking advantage of certain entitlement programs. It's not set in stone, but we wanted to get out in front of it and let them know that we were not happy about linking those two together. They're two completely separate issues.
Thank you very much. Is there any other member of the public wishing to comment on resolutions being offered for adoption? Seeing no one else, I'll formally close this portion of the meeting. Oh, sorry, go for it.
You didn't think I was going to
I thought you were. I was going to say. I was waiting to give you a couple extra seconds.
Good evening, Chair Granados, ladies and gentlemen of the Freeholder Board, Bruce Patterson, Garwood. On page 5, back to 744, you know, not to be the dead horse, but anyway. But Mr. Berry had asked a question if that was actually put out to bid, so I guess if somebody could answer that. The one right below it, 745 to T&M for some LSRP services, and adding $9,450 to $59,000 total for a contract. But I was here the last meeting, and yes, you did talk to Mr. Graziano, asking him questions about it. And what I heard was like this testing, they're going to continue testing for 2 years. Every time they test, they come out with, I guess, some kind of contamination, so they got to continue testing. But the question is in checks and balances, how do we know they're not actually just saying that there's contamination and they got to continue testing so they can continue billing? That's my question. And the only reason why I'm bringing that up, and it sounds silly, but I really would like to know the answer of checks and balances, only because T&M, and I said this before, has donated to the freeholders and their cronies $94,000 in political donations in the past 4 years. So, 747 on that same page in the middle. The illuminated pedestrian warning signals. I was actually driving down South Avenue in Westfield, and there appears to be at least one of them installed already, if that's one of these three. And I'll tell you, it does catch your eye. So I mean, to me, that's a good idea for a pedestrian crossing, very similar to Haynes or whatever the other, you know, the subsidiary Haynes or whatever it is on North Avenue. So that's a good idea. I like that. 749 to 752. This just a simple question. This has to do with local bridges, 4 bridges, I guess, in some kind of LBFN program. I'm just wondering what it says. Changes in language in each one of those resolutions, and so I just somebody explain what changes in language means. 761 on page 7. This is the Union County Intoxicated Driver Resource Center, which you've had as a program for many, many, many years. And I don't recall actually seeing this as a resolution in the past, so I'm just wondering, why is it a resolution? Because this is a normal program that the county has. Page 8, 763. I don't see a dollar amount on this. It looks like you're giving a contract to Straight and Narrow, and I'm just wondering why there's no dollar amount. 764, I mentioned this back when you were doing an ordinance, but could you just give an explanation as to what the policy against workplace discrimination and harassment is about? Anything else? Page 9, number 771, and I normally ask this question. You have internal position control, an adjustment, and could you give us an overview of what that is about? And then, that's it. Rather simple questions. The checks and balances I'd like to hear about.
I'll start with County Manager for number 771.
Thank you, Chairman. I have 8 position controls on the agenda. They consist of the Departments of Finance, Sheriff, and the Department of Public Safety.
Thank you very much. In reference to number 749, 752, call upon Director Graziano, and just in reference to number 745, we have the utmost respect and know that our director, along with his own entire staff, always have the best interest of the county at heart and would never let anyone try to take advantage, no matter who they're connected to or who they're involved with, okay? We make sure that everything is done to the utmost adhering of our rules, regulations, et cetera, so that will not be answered upon, because I take that as a complete lack of respect, disrespect to this whole entire Freeholder Board and our employees in the County of Union for believing that we would even consider or let any business ever try to take advantage of us. Director Graziano?
Thank you, Chairman. Through you, the DOT who we're getting the money for these projects just reworded the resolutions for us, or reworded the language and everything, so we just had to change it to their specifications. It's nothing major on the changes, it's just I got some wording changes how they needed it written for them. So that's why we had to change the wording in those 3.
Thank you very much, Director.
You're welcome.
Number 744, County Council.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The services in question on that is exempt from, it's a service known as a extraordinary unspecifiable service, which is exempt from public bidding, so the answer is no, it was not bid.
For number 764, Director Yeska.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, through you. That resolution amends the employment application and also makes some changes in our policy of workplace discrimination and harassment. It's our mission to review those policies and to review the employment application to make sure that it's up to date and follows any rules that may apply.
Thank you very much, Director. Any other members of the public wishing to comment on resolutions being offered for adoption? Seeing no one else, I'll formally close this portion of the meeting. May I have a motion to adopt resolutions 2018-727 through 2018-788?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Vice Chair Kowalski, seconded by Freeholder Mirabella. Clerk of the Board, please call the roll.
Freeholder Bergen.
I abstain as to 2018-743, 759, 760, and 762, and yes as to the remaining.
Freeholder Estrada.
Yes.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Jalo. Aye. Freeholder Mirabella.
Aye.
Freeholder Williams.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Kowalski.
Yes.
And Chairman Granados.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative for all resolutions with the exception of 4, where you have 7 votes in the affirmative with 1 abstention. Those resolutions being 2018-743, 2018-759, 2018-760, and 2018-762. Again, those were 7 votes in the affirmative with 1 abstention.
Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to open the meeting to the public for the purpose on commenting on any governmental issue that a member of the public feels may be a concern to the residents of the county. Once again, kindly state your name, town of residence, and adhere to the 5-minute time limit.
Good evening, Chair Granados, Bruce Patterson, and ladies and gentlemen of the Freeholder Board. Bruce Patterson, Garwood. So just revisiting Chairman Granados' answer to the question as to whether there's checks and balances on 2018-745, where T&M Associates, who donates tens of thousands of dollars in political donations, is going to continue testing, and you said it's a complete disrespect to the board and you're not going to answer it. So in other words, you do not have any checks and balances. That's the way I read it. So they could be testing. You don't know if they're testing properly or not, but you like their donations. Is that correct? Is that?
Let me know when you're done speaking.
Well, that's my opinion. Okay.
You done?
Thank you. I'm done.
No problem. Well, stated before is that our staff here at the County of Union, going all the way from the top to our county manager to Director Graziano and his staff, always put in place checks and balances and always continue to make sure that any individual or any organization or any business that does work with the county follows the rules, regulations, and adheres to making sure that they're following proper protocol. And there is checks and balances put in place by the staff who has expertise, who has knowledge, and who continue to make sure that everything's being done specifically to making sure that they're saving the county money and making sure that the quality of work as the level that it should be when it comes to the County of Union. There's your answer. Any other members of the public?
Good evening, freeholders. If I'm hoping I'm speaking at the right time. My name is Kathy Sheelis. I live in Fanwood, New Jersey, and I wanted to talk about the deer management program. About a week or so ago, I found out about the program and how the deer extension was changed from 10 or 12 days to, I believe, 120 days. As a mother and also a new grandmother, we always used the Watchung Reservation. Our families used it, and I am very concerned with how the public is going to be impacted by a hunting season that has now been amplified from 10 or 12 days to 100 and I believe it's 120 days. I just wondered, I had asked this question earlier, not of this group. How are you going to protect the public? I understand about the arrows, the crossbows. I understand that they are razor sharp. I'm worried about the public. I'm worried about the children. I'm worried about the animals. I do understand that there is a deer overpopulation with the deer. I'm just wondering if this is an overkill. I don't understand why it has to be so immense. And I haven't been able to get a clear answer on what changes are being made, like at the Watchung Reservation, up by the stables, areas in people's backyards. And if somebody could just tell me why it has to be this big and this long, like how many deer do we really have to kill? I understand in previous years that, you'd keep a count. But now somebody explained to me that that's not the case, that you won't know how many deer are killed until the end. I don't know if I'm understanding this correctly, but it just doesn't make sense to me.
Once you're done with remarks, we'll make sure somebody addresses it. Just continue on with any remarks you have.
Well, one of the answers, I asked, how are you going to control this? And somebody from the county said, well, it's been done in other areas. And I understand it might be done in other areas, but Union County is very heavily populated. I believe it's the third highest population. So if somebody comes back and says, well, we've done it in Warren, I don't know if they've done it in the parks. I believe it's 10 parks. To me, parks are where we go for our recreation. And like I said, I do understand that there is a deer overpopulation with the deer. I'm just wondering, is this program really right for our county, and is it right for our parks? And how are we going to protect the children? And how are we going to protect the people who enjoy these parks? Okay.
Once you're done with your remarks, then we'll make sure we address it.
I'm done.
You're done? Okay.
I think so.
Thank you very much for your comments, Ms. Sheelis. Okay. You can take a seat, and we'll make sure somebody comes address it. Director Zuber.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. Through you, the 100 days is put in place to acquire a permit for that 100-day period. We are not hunting every day of those 100 days, and we are not hunting anywhere near playgrounds, trails, We're using professional marksmen who have gone through a test with certified state instructors. And I think the misconception is that people are running through the woods with bows and arrows. That is not true. These are bows handled by expert marksmen at certain times of the day. They won't be out there in the morning, and they won't be out there on weekends, and they're done at dusk. It would be foolish for any of us to even conceive that we'd be out there when there's families walking around and anything like that. It is a safe hunt that is practiced in most of New Jersey, and we're following what most of New Jersey has been doing with the bow hunt.
Thank you very much, Director. Any other members of the public wishing to comment?
Good evening, Chairman Granados and Union County Freeholders. My name is Ann DeCamp, and I'm a resident and property owner in Scotch Plains, immediately bordering the Watchung Reservation. I am here tonight to express my strong opposition to the drastic expansion and addition of 100 days of crossbow deer hunting in the Watchung Reservation. I do strongly support the shotgun hunt. Lest you think I only appear in front of you to oppose things, I want to start by expressing my appreciation for some of the really great work the county does in the reservation. For example, the new sensory trail, the improvement of the Watchung stables, Masker's barn restoration, the deserted village restoration, and some of the historic placards on the trails. I'm very excited about the upcoming invasive strike force initiative in Watchung. The Watchung Reservation is really overrun with invasive plants, and the effort to reduce the invasive Japanese barberry, which harbors ticks, is very, I think, is a great thing. My husband and I have both had Lyme disease, so we understand the deer problem, we understand the life cycle, we understand the involvement of deer. But I have some very serious concerns about our crown jewel and how it's being managed. I'm a nature photographer who loves to walk in the reservation. We also hike and leash walk our dog nearly every day in the Watchung Reservation. Practically everyone recognizes that the deer overpopulation problem needs to be addressed. For a couple of decades now, local residents such as myself and visitors have tolerated a very well-defined and very limited shotgun deer hunt that lasts only a handful of days, usually on Mondays in the dead of winter. We all know what days we should not go in the Watchung Reservation because we know there's a shotgun hunt going on. It's very limited. We acknowledge that the county now needs to reach much more aggressive targets for deer reduction. But this year, the number of planned hunting days has gone from a mere handful to 100 days. This is an order of magnitude increase and is now nearly 1/3 of the calendar year. It also starts during a very popular autumn leaf season. October 1st is when the hunt starts, and it runs straight through February 16th. And the hunt is Monday through Friday in the October to December portion, sun up to sundown. This is what is on the Union County website. This is very unsettling to regular visitors and local residents who merely want to walk their dog or enjoy a peaceful autumn leaf season on a hike. The only real restrictions on your website are that crossbow tree stands have to be at least 150 feet away from structures such as houses. And there are a lot of houses that encircle the reservation. The county spokesman, Mr. Delia, emailed me that the hunt will be in remote areas and probably won't need 100 days. This is not what the website says. I strongly implore you to eliminate at the very least the October 1st to December 31st crossbow season altogether. The county has not demonstrated the need to add a crossbow season, when a modest expansion of the number of shotgun hunt days would very likely achieve the population goals. The hunt should be better defined to many, many fewer days and more specific days. In addition, there should be stipulated, mapped off-limits section of the reservation. As it looks now, the crossbow plan appears to be merely a gimme for crossbow enthusiasts. And remember, the goal, as stated by the county, is to reduce the deer population, not provide recreational hunting. The deer hunt is just another example of broader concerns that I have about the Watchung Reservation. To summarize, there is very nearly a complete lack of communication with Union County taxpayers, constituents, local residents, park users, and volunteers regarding plans, developments, and maintenance of the Watchung Reservation. Constituents have nearly no input on the development plans for the reservation, and residents and visitors are blindsided by plans such as this hunt. We need to focus more on the historic Olmsted heritage and rely on some technical expertise to preserve this open space. So the Watchung Reservation Master Plan, so hotly
Thank you very
contested
much for your
last year.
comments.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other member of the public wishing to comment?
Carl Carvalho, Cranford, New Jersey. I'll give you a little background about myself. None of you know me or might have heard of me. I've been a Union County resident for 52 years, okay, in Cranford for 50 years. I've hunted since a child. I've hunted for 62 years with a gun, 60 years with a bow. I also participated in the Union County deer program since its beginning in 1994, and also in the Essex County Deer Reduction Program. In 1999, at the request of a Division of Fish and Wildlife game biologist, I was requested to start my own business in deer management, which I did. I incorporated in 1999, and I shot with 6 municipalities: Mountain Lakes, Millburn, Summit, Vobora, Watchung, Bridgewater, and Berners Township. Using shotgun only under the community-based deer management program, which in my opinion is the most efficient way to reduce the deer population in an efficient and quick manner. Since I said I was a bow hunter for years, bow hunting it's a good sport. I like bow hunting, but it's a sport, okay? It's not efficient in reducing the deer population. Many of the communities I worked with, they requested I use bow, and I said no. It's not cost effective, and it's not effective in the numbers for a couple reasons. When you're shooting shotgun, we're classified by the state as professional sharpshooters, okay? I was the only one in the state, my company, that allowed the state allowed to use 5 shots in our shotguns instead of 3. Nobody else has been allowed to do that. The difference between shooting with a gun and shooting with a bow is that shooting with a gun, we're shooting a slug that travels at 14 to 18 feet per second, and with 2,300 pounds of energy. The deer, in most cases, 99% drop right where they're in their tracks, okay? And an arrow, even with today's crossbows, the fastest bow today, the arrows travel at 440 feet with only 66 feet of energy compared to 2,300 with a slug. In the 24 years of the Union County Deer Program, there hasn't been one issue of any safety or otherwise. In my 10 years, there was never one issue of safety or otherwise. My concern about bow hunting is threefold. Number one, the deer don't drop like they do with shotguns. The state allows bow hunters to shoot within 50 yards of a home. When a deer shot with an arrow, it could drop right where it is, it could run 10 yards, it could run hundreds of yards. It will take a wounded deer approximately 3 to 4 seconds to make it to a backyard in 50 yards. I've experienced in other towns that adopted bow hunting, and they had the same problem. That's one problem. Number two is it's not going to reduce the deer population in a timely manner like it has done with a shotgun. A deer with a bow, you might be able to shoot maybe 1, maybe 2, or maybe more, because you have to be reported. Also with a compound, you have to cock the bow. It takes a long time. With a shotgun, I'm speaking for myself, I shot many times 14 deer in one session, 10-8. I had one fellow that shot for me, he beat me out with 18 deer in one session, and that was in Cranford. Okay. My other concern is with the deer running and landing up in people's backyards. And believe me, you will make the Channel 7 news at 6 o'clock when that happens. It's a public nightmare. My other concern concerning bow hunting is you're allowing the use of ladder stands, and these hunters, I call them hunters, they're not professional sharpshooters, they're hunters. These hunters are allowed to keep their stands in the woods. Now, when I shot in all these communities and all these parks, I believe there's 5 or 7 in Union County and all these other communities, the woods are full of children. Those tree stands are going to be magnets to children. I would like Union County to explain to a parent when his child falls off one of these tree stands that was left in the woods and breaks his legs or arms. In order to reduce the deer population, which the young ladies who spoke before me, effectively, is with shotguns under the community-based deer management program, which we have special rules that allow us to kill.
Thank you very much for your comments, Mr. Carvalho.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Anyone else from the public wishing to comment on any public issue?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman of the Board. My name is Robert Wheeler from Cranford. With the Union County hunt that's been going on for quite some time, the changes that have happened just recently have been very disturbing. Not necessarily, from my opinion, for the bow or whether it's the gun, because it's been proven that the gun is more proficient, but the way the whole process has been handled. Several of us have been singled out from an individual club and discriminated against because of our affiliation of our club with the prior people that were in our club that now run the program. And that's a major concern for me and for the future of anybody else that wants to be involved in this program. I'd like to know how the board is going to address this issue when we come up with a platform that has been successful, and now this new program has come in, and things have been pulled out and manipulated to just appease a few select individuals to make it their own private hunting club. This is wrong. You all know this shouldn't be done this way. It should be open and not biased. I'd like to know what the board's going to do about it.
Thank you very much. Any other member of the public wishing to comment?
Good evening, freeholders. My name is Billy Toth. I live in Plainfield, and I've been on the planning board in Plainfield for 15 years. My remarks are longer than 5 minutes, so I'll be splitting them with Charles Weltner. We are not opposed to methods that reduce the deer population in a reasonable and humane way. We are concerned about the radical changes in the annual deer hunt in Union County as it relates to the Watchung Reservation and also countywide. The past deer hunts have been only 8 days long, as has been discussed here, and they've been the volunteer hunters were tightly monitored. Useful data was collected on deer age, sex, pregnancy, whether they were antlered or not, the location the deer was shot, whether it was diseased, and no one's ever been hurt in that hunt. Previously, every day gun hunters hunted, they were signed in and signed out, and every shot was logged and accounted for. Every deer that was killed was removed to a processing location where a county employee logged in the information about the deer, the hunter, and the location of the kill. The carcasses were butchered and the meat distributed to a food bank or to the hunter. I think these rules still apply to the shotgun component, but there are different rules for the archery component. It seems authorized crossbow hunters will be allowed to hunt any of the 100 days. They do not check in and check out. They can gut the deer where they fall and bag and remove the guts. The only reporting occurs at the end of the season, not daily. So a deer killed in October will not be counted until February. Even though there's a stated goal of killing 130 deer, there will be no way to know whether this limit has been reached until February. The director of the previous hunt regularly checked to make sure the deer tree stands were at the right height and locations. Deer stands are elevated so a hunter shoots downward not parallel to the ground, which is much safer for people and animals in the woods. The new crossbow season is a sport hunt, not a tightly controlled deer call. The general description in the 2018-2019 Deer Management Program for Union County specifically states, and I'm quoting, "This program is designed to address a problem of population control. It is not intended to provide sport or recreational opportunities." Is that amusing? The previous program was a deer population management tool. The new archery component is a sport and recreation opportunity. Why do we object to the 100-day bow hunt? It is less safe for humans. With a shotgun, hikers and neighbors hear the gunfire and know that it's going on. No one knows when bow hunting is happening. Hikers and neighbors will stay out of the reservation if they know a hunt is going on. The 100-day hunt, as said previously, is during the fall prime leaf-changing season when the reservation is at its busiest, and the 8 days of shotgun hunting fall in the dead of winter when the reservation is the least crowded. Other reasons we oppose the hunt is that useful data is not gathered, and allowing hunters to field dress their deer has a potential for leaving a gory mess in the woods. But the main reason we oppose the crossbow hunt is that it is far less humane than the shotgun hunt. With a gun, a hunter is more likely to get a clean kill with the first shot. The deer is usually dropped. If he doesn't get a clean kill, he has a second cartridge loaded and gets a second shot. Reloading is quick and easy. If the deer is not dropped on the first shot, it doesn't make it farther than 60 yards.
I'm Charles Weltner, and I live in Plainfield.
Hold on. Go for it.
So this is the continuation of Billy's statement.
You're making your own statements.
It's
for
my
your
own
about
statement.
5 minutes. Yep.
Okay. Cross hunting is different. With a crossbow, the hunter aims for the heart, the lungs, or the carotid artery. The arrow does not drop the deer like a shotgun slug does. Once hit, the deer takes off running. If the hunter is a good shot, the deer will bleed out in 50 or 60 yards. If he didn't take a good shot, the deer might run 2 or 3 miles. The bow hunter must then come down from the tree and follow the blood trail to the deer. When he finds the deer, if it's not dead, he has to finish him off. All this time, the deer is suffering and traumatized. If this hunter doesn't find the deer and the deer manages to survive with an arrow sticking out of it, it might live indefinitely. In remote places, coyotes finish off the wounded deer, but we don't have those here. So here you might get a deer living indefinitely with an arrow sticking out of its side until it dies of an infection. All this time it suffers. A wounded deer might run 2 or 3 miles. The reservation is surrounded by homes. Chances are we're going to have deer dying in people's yards or on neighborhood streets. Wounded deer may run out in the road and get hit by cars, and who knows how long the wounded deer will linger and suffer. Sometimes even with the shotgun hunting, the hunter doesn't get a clean kill and the deer takes off running. But with the culling we had in the past, if a wounded deer escaped, the hunters would all alert each other by a phone tree set up for that purpose. All the hunters would help track and kill the wounded deer quickly and efficiently. With this new hunt, no one signs in or signs out. There's no organized day for the hunt to be conducted. A hunter might be the only hunter in the woods that day, so there will be no organized group of hunters to stalk and finish off the wounded deer. Sometimes a hunter might not stalk the wounded deer long enough. This is true with both archery and firearms. Sometimes the wounded deer just get away, but when you fire a gun, everybody hears it. Shotgun hunters have to account for every shot fired. Archery hunting is silent. There is no accounting for arrow shots. So if an archer merely wounds a deer, no one knows he's even fired the shot. There is less impetus to stalk the wounded deer until it's found. No one else will be notified, so no one will know that there's a wounded deer at large. Because of the stalking element often required in bow hunting, it is a lot harder to kill deer bow hunting. One hunter told me that half of the deer that shot get away with an arrow. One hunter told me that half of the deer that get shot with an arrow get lost, meaning they are off with an arrow in their sides. Having 100 days of deer hunting is a long time for the deer themselves. These are sentient animals. They travel in family groups. They know each other. They are aware when a member of the group is lost. And if we have to kill them, let's kill them and get it over with, and in days, not months. Let's not make a sport of it. Why do hunters want to bow hunt? Because the bow hunt season starts before the shotgun season. That means that a bow hunter can get the big trophy deer, the big bucks with the antlers. By the time the shotgun season rolls around, all the trophy deer may be gone. Bow hunting is unnecessarily cruel. Bow hunting is not a deer population maintenance program. It's a sport. Given that Watchung Reservation has thousands of visitors and users, especially in the autumn, and given that totally surrounded by homes and neighborhood streets, bow hunting is not appropriate there. Recreational hunting is not appropriate for this heavily visited reservation, one of the most densely populated counties in the nation. We ask that the board reconsider the decision to allow bow hunting in the Watchung Reservation. We ask the board to reconsider the decision to extend the hunt from 8 to 100 days. We ask these things not only for the Watchung Reservation, but for the whole of Union County Deer Management Program. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call upon Ray Spahn, President of New Jersey Federation of Sportsman Clubs, to also give some remarks. In reference to...
Good evening, Chairman. Freeholders. Questions, or you want me to address some of the issues that I've heard?
Everything.
Okay. First of all, one of the reasons that we put together a comprehensive archery program in Union County is because the current gun program that we've had since 1994 has been ineffective in managing the deer herd. We have found through the nighttime deer surveys that the survey shows that the deer per square mile has dramatically increased. We have seen a 30% uptick in the vehicle deer hits in Union County, increase in Lyme disease. We looked at other counties as to what the counties were doing on a comprehensive viewpoint in managing their deer problem. One of the things that was missing in Union County was an archery component. So we looked at some of the best practices, and we rebounded this off of a successful program in Plainfield last year. Last year, Township of Plainfield came to the county and said, we have a deer problem, very bad deer problem. Municipal piece of property, 31 acres. The county asked us if we could take a look and provide a plan. We put 3 crossbow hunters on the 31 acres in Plainfield, and the property is completely surrounded by house. Completely surrounded, a small pocket of woods. And in 8 afternoons, we successfully harvested 10 deer. No deer made it onto anyone's backyard. No deer ran into anyone's street. No deer died into anyone's front lawn. We have vetted these hunters that have come out for this program and made sure that accuracy is of paramount importance. We made sure that every hunter that came out can qualify. They could hit a tennis ball at 20 yards. So that's the first thing. The deer hunt, the archery hunt, and the Watchung Reservation is not 100 days, it's 66 days. There's a small portion, the Acadia Arboretum, which is a completely fenced-in 31-acre portion of the woods, that is a 100-day program. So in essence, the entire Watchung Reservation is not a 100-day hunt, it's a 66-day hunt. Hearing the concerns from our residents, we have 15 deer stands that have been previously used for shotgun hunting, using guns. We took 5 of those stands out of those sensitive areas. No one will be hunting in those stands. We only have 10 stands in the most remote locations of the Watchung Reservation to ease the concerns of the constituency here so that we won't have an issue with someone believing that a deer will run into their yard. We took those stands away. We went into the deepest part of the swamp. Archery, is it effective? State of New Jersey in 2017, I'm going to round up the numbers. 28,000 deer were killed with archery equipment, 20,000 deer were killed with firearms. I'm going to repeat that. 28,000 with archery equipment, 20,000 with firearms. Archery equipment is very, very effective. When it comes to humane, when you shoot a deer in the chest with an arrow or a 1-ounce shotgun slug, it's going to run. It's going to take approximately 30 seconds and it will die. That's the unfortunate aspect of this. But when it comes to the actual portion of when you cleanly hit an animal from an elevated position, that deer will die within 30 seconds with both the shotgun and the archery equipment. Which leads me to tree stands. Union County has taken on the most aggressive approach to safety. we mandate with the archery equipment a 12-foot high tree stand. That's double the tree stand height of any other county in the state of New Jersey, twice the height, to make sure that when that arrow is shot, if there's a miss or that arrow goes through the deer, it will safely burrow into the dirt. Reporting. We have a daily reporting system. The program manager will have every hunter text him or email him that same evening location, the date, the sex of the deer, and the confirmation number that he or she received from the state of New Jersey to legally check that deer in. 20-yard limitation on shots. No shooting from the ground, no further than 20 yards. And again, every one of the agents is qualified to hit a tennis ball at 20 yards. If they didn't, they're not qualified to hunt. Oversight. We have a great team, county. We also have team captains in every one of the parks who will be reporting back and forth to the agents. So if there's any issues whatsoever, it'll be handled. On top of that, we're going to have Division of Fish and Game police officers with us on Friday evening as a meet and greet so that we have oversight by the Division of Fish and Wildlife to have them on staff to meet every one of our agents.
Thank you very much. Any other member of the public wishing to comment? I know Ray made mention of the 30% increase over the previous year when it comes to deer carcasses upon the county on its roads in 2017. And I also just want to make mention that we've actually reached historic increases in deer populations within the county. For example, one area in Hillside alone registered an astounding number of 260 deer per square mile, a total hardly seen before in Union County.
Freeholders, how you doing? My name is Carl Foray. I'm a resident of Clark. I have a couple concerns. Pretty much, I sent an email off to most of you guys. I didn't receive a response, so a little concerning. But my main concern is the selection process of the agents. In the past, it's been very organized. It's been very fair. All of those guidelines have been removed. So now this club, Ray and Joe Poligay, have their own club, and they decided to, make it their own hunting club. They exonerated 5 of our members of our club who they were previous members of, and it's become a personal issue. The 5 people that are here from our club right now, they have been high producers in the program in the past. We've had 0 issues. We've been very efficient, but yet this year we were not asked to return, and it was due to personal reasons, I believe. I would like to know how the selection process was made and how many applicants there were. Thank you.
I'll call upon Director Zuber to give information on the policy of selection.
There was, through you, Mr. Chairman, there was over 390 applications sent out notifying hunters of the qualification. Within a few days, we realized we weren't getting a high response, so we sent it out again. It turned out it was an email problem, so we actually added another another qualification round. But before we did that, we contacted individuals individually from their emails that they sent us on their application. So we did have a problem getting it out. We tried to rectify it. We have all backup to prove this out. Usually when we disqualify a hunter, it's because they may have broken certain rules in the hunts before. I can't speak to these individuals. That was not part of the selection process. If you had a game violation against you, we also disqualified you.
Thank you very much. Any other member of the public wishing to comment?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I want to take another minute to respond.
Sorry, apologize. You already spoke for your
I
5-minute allotment
have a
time.
question for the people that you're bringing into this committee. Is Mr. Spahn a paid person by the county?
Sir, you already have your 5 minutes allotted in reference to speaking. Thank you very much. Any other member of the public wishing to speak? Okay. And just to make mention also, any individuals who I've seen in the public who felt that for whatever reason, that you feel that you weren't selected for, other personal reasons, etc., please provide at the end of the meeting, Mr. Poetary, with your names, and Dr. Zuber always makes sure that he looks into matters of this such. Thank you.
Good evening, Brian McDade, Westfield. I was a part of the program in the past. I volunteered a lot of my time. I was there for every shift. I think I was a very effective agent or hunter, or whatever you want to call what we were. Never had an issue. I sent the application in this year. I never even got a response back. It said in the application that I would get a response if you were chosen or not. From what I understand, in the past, we would pick the majority of the people from previous agents. So you had people that had experience. I've been doing this for over 10 years. I started doing it in other programs. I never had no game violations, no issues in the program, never lost a deer that I shot, never even really had to go look for a deer that I shot. Was always there to help, do all the work, hang the feeders, bait the sites. I gave a lot of my time to the program, and in fact, I didn't even get a response as to if I was chosen or not. That kind of bothered me a little bit. In the past, to show that it wasn't a private hunting club or an exclusive group of people, they did keep people that were experienced, and they always brought in a number of new people to filter new people into the program and give other people a chance. But it was always a smaller number of new people, and you kept a majority of experienced people, which makes sense because it is a sensitive issue and a sensitive thing that we're doing. You want the experience of people that have participated in the past. From what I understand, this year, only about 8 people were chosen from past participants, that they were all new participants. And the county employee that ran the program in the past didn't hunt. So he had no personal investment in the program. He was working for the county. His number one goal was to reduce the deer population. Now the people running the program, they are hunters themselves, and they are members of a hunting club, and the shooting test this year was held at their hunting club. So I just think it's a little odd that such a small amount of people that were in the program before, now that someone new is running it and running the selection process, drastically changed who's in the program, where the shooting test was held. It was held at their hunting club, and they are also hunters, sportsmen themselves, that are probably going to be running the program and participating in it. So I would like a little bit more clarification on the selection process. I would like a reason why I wasn't chosen. And I think you should look at who's in the program this year and their affiliation with any hunting clubs that they're in with whoever's running the program, and see who's actually hunting. All right, and because it looks a little suspicious to me that there was a complete overhaul of the program. I agree with everything. The numbers of deer taken with archery in the archery season goes from the beginning of September till the middle of February, and shotgun season is maybe about a month long. There's 1 week in December, and then there's about a month and a half of permit shotgun sporadically around the state. So shotgun hunting in a small amount of time compared to the bow season took 8,000 deer less, but the bow season is about 3 months longer than the shotgun season. So if you look at how relative it is, shotgun hunting is much safer, much more effective, much more efficient at handling a deer population. All right, thank you.
Any other members of the public?
Hello, my name is Vinny Ricco, business owner, property owner, Linden, New Jersey. I've been a sharpshooter for the County of Union for over 10 years. I have a flawless record with the County of Union and the County of Essex also. I've been hunting for 35 plus years, and I gotta say, bow hunting does not work for deer management. And that's the truth. Shotgun hunting with a slug only from a minimum of 20 feet at the platform down. I'm not against shooting deer at all. Like that gentleman said, the numbers are gonna be more. You got 6 months out in the woods, but your exposure to the public is a lot longer. Even more so when we are doing the deer cull, shotgun season, we have 200 square inches of armorage So the public sees us, and they always kind of know what areas we're in the reservation, because I've been a sharpshooter in the reservation for many years, 10-plus years with a flawless record. My concern is about the exposure and the safety of the public. During September or October, the leaves are lush and green. There's times you can't see 10 yards in front of you. During the November, December, January, February, legal gun season, especially when we do the deer management in January, the woods are bare. You could see hundreds of yards. You could see people coming. Even more so, when you are bow hunting, you are in full camouflage, where people walking a dog can't see you. My only concern is for the safety of the public and the exposure to the public.
Thank you.
That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Any other member of the public? Seeing no one else, I'll formally close this portion of the meeting. Move on to Freeholder reports. Freeholder Hudak.
Thank you, Chairman. A few comments this evening. I first of all wanted to commend the board on the reauthorization of the CLEAR program. This program, which we started last year, has already shown to be a tremendous success. And just in terms of looking at this from the point of view of partnership, Prevention Links has been a tremendous partner in this county for a very long time, and the funds expended on this particular initiative are relatively low for the work that they are doing. The Sheriff's Office and the Prosecutor's Office and the other members of the task force, which include our county police, our Human Services Department, are collaboratively working together to address the opioid epidemic in this county. And there is a tremendous need. And this is the second year that the board has authorized funding beyond the CLEAR program for both detox and rehabilitation. For the second year in a row, the county will be funding $150,000 for individuals who cannot find access to treatment and care. That funding was not appropriated until our budget process was complete on June 1st. From June 1st, when the money was appropriated, till July 31st, 1/3 of that money was already spent within 60 days on Union County residents who are seeking treatment in this county. So there is certainly a need, and it's a sad thing. But on the other hand, I am heartened that we have such great professionals both in law enforcement as well as in government who are taking on this problem and working with individuals who are ill, who need care. And I'm commending those because we have heard from some of the family members and even some of the participants that this has been a life-saving moment for them, coming in, seeking treatment, and looking towards the future. I wanted to address some of the comments we've heard tonight regarding the deer hunt. First of all, regarding the traditional hunt that the county has done since 1994, 95, I want to say that I'm very supportive of the hunt. Personally, from it's the personal anecdote. A couple of years ago, I was driving in Monmouth County. We were going to play golf in the morning, and just driving. I think it was on 34, and everything was fine. And a second later, I was T-boned by a buck. And probably if I had been maybe a split second later down the road, we would have hit him head on. Cost about $9,000 worth of damage to my vehicle. Shook me up pretty good. And just the damage from the deer running into the car, took out 2 doors. The fender, it was a serious accident. The truth of this program is we've heard from some folks who were, who are hunters, and, there's concerns about the selection process, and I certainly hope that Director Zuber was listening, and I'm hoping we're reviewing this because it's a new hunt, and I'm sure there's going to be revisions to the process as it gets refined. But this is not a sporting hunt. We are culling deer, we are harvesting deer. We're harvesting deer because there are too many in a residential area. For those who are concerned about the animals, I'm not a hunter. I did marry into a family of hunters, but I'm not, it's not something I really enjoy, waking up on a weekend at 3 o'clock to go sit up in a tree for 12 hours. It's not something I enjoy, but I know people who do, and I've talked to a lot of them. At the end of the day, these animals, as we've overdeveloped other parts of the state, have come into Union County, and we have to be more aggressive in taking them out because we have people who live here, people who drive vehicles, and people who could be injured. Now, in terms of some of the criticisms as to whether we should expand this particular hunt, I support going and adding the bows. I know many of our neighboring counties do have bow hunting. Monmouth has bow hunting. Middlesex has bow hunting. Morris has bow hunting. Somerset has bow hunting. Monmouth County, they noted in their report for last year, of the 604 deer that were harvested in Monmouth County parks, 92% of those deer were harvested by archery. You're going to get more deer, obviously, because of the longevity of the hunt. There's going to be more opportunity to take deer. And if next year you guys came back and said, we're very disappointed because there's no deer to hunt in January, I would say mission accomplished. We'll put a big banner up because ultimately, I don't think anyone wants to have a hunt. We need to do this for reasons of safety. So, we have more animals in this part of the county and the state that we've never had before. We, in fact, do have coyote in Union County from time to time. They do come through here. There are sightings in all 21 counties. So I am supportive of the expansion of the hunt. I am hopeful that some of the concerns that we hear from individuals who have participated, and we do appreciate it. I've actually visited you in January when it's extraordinarily cold and you're spending a very cold day up in a tree. I do appreciate the work that you're doing. It is a valuable service to the community. So I do hope there's a way that we can get everyone involved in this particular process. But at the end of the day, I'm most looking forward to having less deer in Union County because I don't want to see deer suffering because they're being hit by vehicles and dying on the side of the road, and I don't want to see people killed in car accidents by the same manner. It is unfortunate the amount of overdevelopment we do have in New Jersey. This is the most densely populated state in the nation. And we want our parks to be safe, and I'm sure everyone that we bring into this hunt will be properly qualified. They will be safe, and if they show even an inkling of not being either, they will be thrown out of the program immediately. So with that, I do hope that this is a good thing, that we take more deer out of the parks, and that soon maybe we don't have a need for a hunt because we've done such a good job. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Jallo?
No comments, Chairman.
Thank you. Freeholder Mirabella?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to speak to the efforts of the LGBTQ services. Has been very active this year. Earlier this week, yourself, Chairman, Freeholder Bergen, Freeholder Williams, and I attended an LGBTQ State Chamber of Commerce event in Westfield, which was highly successful and well attended, and I'm glad to see that business opportunities are coming forward for that group that has a lot to offer to the community. Coming this Sunday, we're partnering with the Rutgers School of Public Health to host a free community forum on HIV prevention. The focus will be the educational efforts that create a safe, supportive environment in the community so that people can seek guidance on HIV without being stigmatized. And we're also partnering with GLAD Media Institute to host 2 free training courses aimed at using the media to foster inclusion, and diversity. The first course will take place on September 28th, called Engagement 101. It focuses on the mainstream media narratives about the LGBTQ community. The second course, Engagement 202, is designed for those who are incorporating social media into their advocacy strategy. That course will take place on October 19th. If you have any other questions or you need any information on the Office of LGBTQ Services, or you want to register for these events, please visit our website at ucnj.org/LGBTQ, or you can call the coordinator, Danny Newberry, at 908-527-4742. Mr. Chairman, I don't know if anybody else is speaking tomorrow on the MIA POW event. Someone is? Okay. So tomorrow, in front of the courthouse on Broad Street, we will have another ceremony to honor our MIA POWs, and invite the public and all who can hear this to come and honor those who we are missing in action or prisoner of wars. I'll speak a little bit to the deer population too. It's been noted, and I think very much confirmed, that the population of deer in Union County significantly increased over the past, I'd say, 5 years. Accidents are up, tick infestation is up, damage to vegetation, although not the primary concern, it's more about human life, and accidents can't be disregarded. The deer, as they're pushed out into our neighborhoods and our communities, are eating everything in their path. The current program, although successful for many years, is not working anymore, and probably hasn't for the last 3 to 5 years. But I will say this, in 22 years, there's been 0 accidents or 0 problems, and I think that speaks to the oversight, the management, and the plan that's put in place, and the current plan moving forward was put in place with that same ideal to have 0 accidents and 0 problems. We need to try different things. We need to change our strategy. I'm in favor of adding the bow element. It has proven to me that it will be safe for the community. And also, at the same time, we're working with the state to increase the traditional hunt. So there's multifaceted efforts going on with a shotgun expansion to allow for a longer season and more bucks. And the bow hunting, I think, is, after a successful pilot in Plainfield, I think is worthy of being deployed safely in other parts of our county. So I'm in favor of this. I've only heard from people who say that deer are a nuisance. I have gotten some recent emails from people who are either not understanding fully the scope of this new approach. Hopefully some of the information that was given tonight will help answer some of the questions that are out there in the community. I hope it will. You know, I do think one thing, though, I mean, it's one thing to establish the guidelines of the program. I do think we have to send out some more information, maybe a frequently asked questions, or a let's set the matter straight as far as what this new plan does that will help better explain the program for our residents so that they understand what the objective is, what the strategy is, the safety that's incorporated into it, and all those things. So I'm looking forward to, as Freeholder Hudak said, you know, a world where there's less of an issue with deer, and you know, it's all in the idea of keeping our community safer moving forward. With that, I'll conclude my comments, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Bergen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just going to join in the comments by Freeholders Mirabella and Hudak concerning the deer hunt. I am supportive of it as well. Certainly, it's a new program. It's in its first year. The pilot program worked well, but there may be some changes that need to be made for next year, but certainly it's been set up to be safe and productive, and I think we need to see it through, and then we can always make changes next year if needed. One of the things that concerns me, and Freeholder Mirabella touched on this as well, is the misinformation that seems to be out there. And once a piece of misinformation gets out on the internet, it's very hard to correct it or to fight it. It spreads. So hopefully we can get proper information about what's being done out there to the public, so they do understand exactly how the hunt is going to be run, and that it will be safe, and hopefully it will be productive. Just real quickly on the numbers of deer through the different methods, I agree with what Freeholder Mirabella said. We have used the shotgun season as much as we can to cull the herd, but it's not working. And we can't expand the time frame of that. That's set by state law. So expanding into the arrows, having another method of hunting is the only way we have, and I'm convinced that it's been looked at and it will be productive, so I am supportive of going forward with the hunt. I did want to mention another issue which is of concern to a fair number of our municipalities, and those are the train riders along the Raritan Valley Rail Line. We were contacted by New Jersey Transit. I'm currently the chairman of the Raritan Valley Rail Coalition. Vice Chairman Kowalski met with New Jersey Transit, and we were advised in advance, and then they made a public announcement that the one-seat ride that we fought for so many years was going to be suspended between now and the end of the year, so that the federally mandated positive train control could be placed onto all of our trains. If you read the newspapers, you know that New Jersey Transit also has been underfunded for many years, up to 8 years going back, and so there's a shortage of engineers as well, which is also causing problems. But I am confident that New Jersey Transit will fulfill their promise, and come the new year, once the positive train control project is done, that they will reinstate the limited one-seat ride that we have at this time. We are confident that the state is doing what they need to try and expand the number of engineers working for New Jersey Transit, though that will take a number of months, maybe up to a year. And the Rail Coalition plans to and will continue to push for further one-seat ride during busier times, though ultimately it's a gateway tunnel that is the linchpin to that entire solution. So I urge the citizens to watch for further notes from New Jersey Transit and from the coalition as we get into the new year, but more importantly, pressure your legislators at the state and federal level to support the Gateway project and the related projects, because that is ultimately what we need. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Williams?
Thank you, Chairman. Just a couple of things, a couple of events that are coming up as we move toward the second half of September. Thursday, September 20th, is the deadline to apply for the county's Master Gardeners volunteer program. You're welcome to join whether you are experienced or not experienced. You can learn new skills. You can share the knowledge that you do have and connect with the gardening community and Greater Union County. Next Friday, the 21st, is another in our series of free mobile paper shredding events from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Linden Recycling Center. And I'll just put in another pitch for Recycle Coach, the app. It's really wonderful. So you can just put it right on your phone, and you can personalize it to your town so that you know and will never forget another pickup, another recycling event, and your regular garbage pickup, etc. Next Friday, there will also be an open house for students who are interested in joining a 4-H club at the Union County VOTEC. the campus in Scotch Plains. We have a very strong 4-H program with clubs for anime, Lego robotics, fashion design, and other kinds of STEM topics. And just finally, note that our Adopt a Park program is still recruiting volunteers to help us to remove the invasive vines and other plants that are in our parks. I've gone to a couple of these, and it's a way to forge new connections and to also clean up the environment, and it's also a way of giving back. So there's a lot more on the calendar, so if you would just go to Facebook or whatever other social media platform you use that we're also on, you can keep in touch with Union County and also check our website for regular updates on our activities. That's all I have, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Freeholder Williams. Freeholder Estrada?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I want to take the moment to speak about resolution number 744, which is the additional $50,000 for the period of January 1 through December 31st for prevention links. And what we find to be the, besides the opioids epidemics, but anything associated to the addiction recovery. And that's something that we really need to keep cognizant of, because the amount of individuals that we're losing, we have to ask ourselves the question that, you know, here we are talking about deer and everything else, but we're losing lives. So usually young people that to something that our society has brought upon them, and I think we need to keep very focused of the necessity, and because this has impacted lives across Union County and throughout our state. And now let me tune into the deer situation. First of all, I personally do not believe that the terminology of not working is one that's acceptable for the things that we have done over the years. But in the same token that I say that, I think that it's important that we look at other options, which we're doing, to try to reduce the population even more. In understanding how deer reproduce, yes, there is, if you have X number of females and X number of males, you're gonna have, you know, so many potential births every year, and but the reality is that there is no one out there, or the deer don't have anyone in nature that is taking them down. So therefore, it is our job to ensure that we do the best possible job that we can to reduce that population. But after I heard comments tonight, it sounds like this is a free-for-all, grab your bows and arrows, let's go out there and hunt. My friends, it's not like that at all whatsoever. The county has been systematically organized in the manner that this has been done for years, and it will continue to be that way. Because for us to go out there taking down deer and not knowing who the number they are, where they were taken down, does not provide us an inventory, which is so critical in understanding how to control them. So maybe I sense a little upsetness from those who like the guns, and I'm not a hunter, I apologize for that, but we're looking like there's some kind of a pressure between the hunters and the bow hunters and the gun hunters. And the reality is, by setting the distances to be different, I think it allows for, number one, a safe, which is what we're all looking for, a safe environment where we can control this. Now, I've heard 120 days, 100 days, 90 days. My friends, I don't believe that there will be hunting of deer with bow and arrow for 120 days, 100 days, because they're just not feasible. Yes, you have to apply for a license, and maybe the window for the license is very broad. But I think we need to, if anything, is to focus on what we're trying to achieve and make sure that the information is very clear and the people understand what's going to be going on. I don't believe that anybody's going to go out of their homes and find a guy with a bow and arrow who's going to go out hunting in front of the yard. That's just not the case. The county has traditionally always kept people informed as to what the plan is for that particular day, that week, that month, and the hours that they're being involved. So to even consider that that may not be the case, I don't think it works. But one of the things that I've also, and if maybe you heard me a few months ago about how I see the bow and arrow as a critical arsenal of things that we can use to limit the population is like there may be municipalities that because of the, I know it's not necessarily the reservation, but in municipalities where the space is more constrained, you're probably better off shooting with an arrow than you with a gun. And we're still gonna have our hunt that we traditionally have. So I don't know what's the, what is happening in terms of the information. Is it that we just want to be anti-things, or we want to take positions that are totally out of the realm of reality, what we're trying to do? And it's disturbing to a certain point. Remember that we're going to be having, whatever we're going to do is going to be a safe environment. It's going to be a precise record keeping as to who is going to be in the area, who is going to do what, the accountability of all these things. And this is nothing new to us. We've done this for years. And we'll see the results at the end. Will we continue this project? Well, possibly. It's very hard to say, but the opportunity, I think, is coming before us very soon. And if there has been anything, if anybody has been done wrong as to the process, whether your application was accepted, whether we have had some system problems that could have been involved in terms why you didn't get your application back, but I don't believe that there's any systematic idea out there of trying to keep people out from doing it. Or you also need to give people a chance also to participate, because the amount of individuals who would like to take part in the process is tremendous. And we're not going to take 1,000 people, throw them out there to do any of these things. So if you always had, for example, people have said, I've been done it for the last 10 years, 12 years, guess what? Maybe take a break this year and maybe come back next. But I want it to be because we're giving everyone the opportunity to participate, and not because what I've heard here today, that there's systematic clubs or A, B, or C that are holding these things behind. And I'm sure that will be cleared up very quickly, because that's not how we operate. So hopefully, and it is, the track record of the individuals who participated for all these years in terms of their safety record is, and you've heard it before from our colleagues, that you, the ones who have been involved, have delivered a safe environment and has done the job that's been required. But in the same token, we need to expand our horizons and look for other potential things to do. I thank all of you for coming out and speaking about this issue. I had some conversations the other day in Plainfield with the residents of Plainfield about this, but I still don't believe that we're going to be hunting for 100 days. It's probably maybe top 20 days or less than that, but that's just my assessment to it. It's very hard because weather plays a role, the foliage plays a role, all these things will play a role as to when it happens. So thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Freeholder. County Council?
No comments, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
County Manager?
No comments, Chairman, thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair Kowalski?
Thank you, Chairman. I think my colleagues have spoken at length on the deer hunt. I just want to thank everyone who's come to address us tonight. We have heard you, and I'm sure that everything that's been a part of this discussion will be well considered. So can't make any promises other than the fact that we do plan to have a safe, increased cull of the deer, because it's necessary for public safety. I'm switching to other topics here. First, I'd like to congratulate Freeholder Rebecca Williams on being one of 4 women honored by an organization called Emerge, which is dedicated to getting women elected around the state and supporting women who are elected officials. So congratulations, Freeholder. About another topic that we all think about in the fall, which is the election on November 6th. County Clerk Joanne Rajapi has asked that we share some information for voters who plan to apply for a vote by mail ballot. She says that we should please be aware that there is a new option on the application form for vote by mail. There's a space for applicants to indicate whether they would like to receive the vote-by-mail ballot for each election every year. And in earlier years, you had to reapply for vote-by-mail for each election. But the new option eliminates the need to keep repeating this process. So it's a convenience for people who perhaps have a work schedule that doesn't permit them to take time on a Tuesday, or may have a disability and can't get to the polling place. So for each voter should choose the choose the option that works best for them. And if you have questions about vote by mail or any other aspect of elections in Union County, you can reach the county clerk at ucvote@ucnj.org, or if you just go to our website, ucnj.org, you can find a link, or call the county clerk's elections division at 908-527-4996. That's 527-4996. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I just want to make mention, the Freeholder Board and our county police, under leadership of Director Moran, will be partnering up with the county prosecutor, county sheriff, and the cities of Plainfield and Elizabeth to host a gun buyback program on October 27th. These buyback events have taken hundreds of guns off the streets and out of our neighborhoods. They also help raise awareness about the risks of gun violence in our communities. As you may know, buybacks are designed to create a space for anyone to turn in any gun in any condition with no questions asked. For this event, you may turn up to 3 firearms and receive up to $250 per firearm. If you have any unwanted guns that are within your home, I encourage you to take advantage of this opportunity. The locations will be at the Macedonian Baptist Church at 1251 Fairmount Avenue in Elizabeth, and the Visions of God Family Worship Church at 350 Leland Avenue in Plainfield. Both sites will begin at 9 a.m. and conclude at 4 p.m. Again, the date will be Saturday, October 27th. Also, I'd like to make mention, I could always continue to make mention of how this Freeholder Board is extremely progressive and extremely making sure that they're forefront of the county and moving our county forward. And I just want to make mention of how this Freeholder Board will host our first ever Union County Hispanic Heritage Celebration on Sunday, September 23rd at the Union County Performing Arts Center in Rahway. This is a free event for the whole community to share and experience the richness of the Hispanic culture, including music, art, and live performances. Among the day's activities, we'll be honoring local leaders for their service to the community. The Hispanic Heritage Celebration is free, but pre-registration is required and asked of at ucnj.org/Hispanic-Heritage-Celebration. For more information about this event, please contact Natalie Hernandez at 908-527-4880 or email her at nahernandez, HERNANDEZ @ucnj.org. And I just want to thank this Freeholder Board again for making sure this came to fruition, and also my Latino counterpart, Freeholder Estrada, who was a strong advocate for making sure that this Hispanic Heritage Celebration took place. So I just want to say thank you for that, and thank you to every single Freeholder. So with that said, may I motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Meeting adjourned.